So in my network, yesterday or last night, I created this newsletter, which has now got 241 subscribers, growing your woodworking business. So this was my first article. This is generated by AI. This is a brief article about how to market your woodworking business. And essentially, it's all right. It's quite good. But I'll show you how I did it. So I got ChatGPT to write that article for me. I then just tweaked it a bit because it's never quite perfect, but that probably took me 10 minutes to do. Then the AI within LinkedIn generated the front cover, and that was that. 15 minutes later, I created a newsletter, and I'd done that, and I've now got 241 subscribers. I can then see who those subscribers are. So therefore, I can then contact them, and each of these people will get a notification whenever I send a new article out, essentially. And that currently that's just growing and growing and growing. So I've been on LinkedIn for a couple of years in terms of growing it. So I have just over 5,000 followers now, but that started with very little. I started by connecting with people that were in my phone. So if you go on the app on your phone, it then connects. So within the network, you've got the contacts. So I've got 7,000 contacts in my phone. Go back many years. And basically, initially what I did is I just went down my contacts and click connect with anybody I felt fitted, whether they were doing a kitchen business or a joiner or I felt fitted where I wanted to be, essentially, and just did an invite to connect through. On top of that, LinkedIn suggests people to connect to. You do get random people you went to school with, etc., etc. That is just the nature of it. But what it also does is it does look at the kind of connections you've got, the kind of posts you've got, the people, and therefore recommends people to connect to. You can just click connect. It is much better to send a message with that, and it can be just a cut and paste because obviously what we're wanting to use LinkedIn for is to find these business connections that we can have as partners that can bring us work, essentially. That's what we want to be. So what we will define is who that looks like, and that's likely to be a few different groups of people. That might be contractors, there might be architects, there might be interior designers, and there will be a slightly different hook and a slightly different demographic for all of them. But finding those people is actually fairly easy. We can find them, we can connect with them. Once we're connected, we'll then see our posts, and we can also message them so that we can send a message. So within LinkedIn, if you pay for it, you can message people who are not connected with you. If you just have the free version, you can only send a message once you're actually connected. But so if there's somebody that you want to be connected with, you want a message, the easiest thing is to connect with them and send a brief message with that. People get to see it, and they can. What you find, most people accept. It's fairly rare, unless you've unless it's really left field or you've pissed them off at some point, they tend to accept it. Therefore, that then allows you to be able to message them through. And again, it's about consistently doing it. So if you just leave if it's set up once and that's it, and you never post, you never try and connect with anybody, your connections will be very minimal. If, again, you just sit in front of the telly in the evening and spend 10 minutes connecting with people, it's defining time to do it and just to build it, but it really pays dividends because we get one architect that's going to bring us 4 jobs in the year. That's a huge difference to our turnover. And it's what we will work out and what I'll work through with you individually is what is each client worth to you? What are they likely to bring on average? So looking at the clients that you've already got, what kind of revenue are they bringing in? What kind of profits are they bringing in? Therefore, and that's a really good motivator to go, right, well, actually, if I connect with 20 people, reach out to them, one of those is going to come through and become a trade partner. They are then going to increase my turnover by 100 grand a year. You only need 7 of those and you've doubled your turnover. So you can really see how important it is. But when you start off, you have no idea how many people you need to connect to in order to feed through that. And obviously the initial, we picked up the phone to somebody we'd already done work for. The next, and what LinkedIn is fairly good at, is it will look through your phone and know who you're connected to and therefore recommend people. So therefore you're then reaching out to people who either have mutual connections, so people are much more likely to connect with you if you've got a mutual connection. But it may be that you've had some sort of contact with them, whether you've met them somewhere or you did a job for them a long time ago, or you know somebody who did it. That's the way LinkedIn works. It's the network. And therefore, the warmer the connection is, the more trust they're going to have and the more likely they're going to come to see you. But equally, what we need to begin to build is some content so that when people then have a look at who you are, they get it straight away, who you are, what you do, why should I order 50 grand's worth of windows from this person? Why should I get them to do my construction work? Okay, right. And what we need is what they call congruency, essentially everything to do with your business, be it your website, be it your LinkedIn page, etc., be it your email footer, is all saying the same thing. It's all looking the same. It's all got the same brand, so that you're hammering home that message that if you connect with Stephen Spitley, this is what he's all about. He's all about windows. He's all about doors. He's not about staircases. He's not about kitchens. He's all about level of service and a brilliant product. And what you're needing to do is build that trust, because for an architect, for a developer, for an interior designer to trust you with getting their stuff through you, recommending their clients to you, you've got to be able to deliver. And obviously, that's where building out your website with testimonials, with pictures of the work you've done, etc., it all just backs that up. But at this point, it's that personal connection. And as James, you were saying, it's all about your relationship with people. This is what we're gonna build on, the relationships that you and Ryan have built with people, and we're gonna utilize that, and we're gonna grow that and turn that into an increase in sales, essentially. So if I just show you how I did the article. So I went to GPT? Who uses Chat GPT? Anybody?
Yeah, I've started using it a little bit.
Okay. And obviously, you can write your own article, you can write your own stuff, and posts only need to be really short, and you can do it yourself, or obviously you can pay Awesome Marketing or somebody to do it for you. But a short post of a picture of some work you're doing, etc., you don't need to use. But an article, even if you do a lot of editing afterwards, it's much easier to get ChatGPT to create it for you, and you can then tailor it and tweak. So let's say we want to write a LinkedIn article about Aliclad timber windows within the UK commercial. So within minutes, you've got an article all about why Aliclad is great for the commercial market within the UK. Probably be a few things that you'll want to tweak. It may be that you want to talk about Gutman. It may be that that's the way to do it. But essentially, Chat GPT is very good at getting the initial structure and information for you. And all you then need to do is tweak it a little bit. You just copy it. And now I'm going to write an article. You can either write it under your page or under you personally. I've got many more followers under me rather than my page because I never really promoted my page. You can see it on where I could do it under Spitly if I wanted to. So I can get AI within LinkedIn to create. So
I've just FYI, I've just put in right article of Gutman Lignum aluminium clad windows, and it's done it.
Yeah, because absolutely. The more specific you are, and once it's written it, you can then say refine that and make that about Gutman or whatever you want it to be. You can then also tweak the text once you've copied it, essentially. So this will come up with some ideas. And barring the tweaks and changes that you want to do, you've written an article that will then make you an expert in your field, doing what you do and communicating to the architects, the builders, designers. Right. When people are searching for Aliclad, your article is going to come up, and you're there. Essentially, you can either publish that as an article or you can do it as a newsletter. So you would then create a newsletter. That would be the first article of your newsletter. You then do a post, and you would post that to your page. You've posted that article. You then got a newsletter. All of your contacts will then be invited to subscribe to your newsletter. And obviously, most of you are starting at a fairly low connection. So what we want to do is build out your connections and then invite them to follow your newsletter. I would suggest that wants to be once a month, but literally that took me, 5-6 minutes to do. Yes, it probably needed a bit more tweaking. Yes, it probably wants to talk about Gutman, etc., but that is as easy as it gets in terms of creating the article. And that's what I did last night, and that my subscriber set is already growing. But what you're beginning to do is be perceived as an expert in your industry, as an expert. And you don't have to get ChatGPT to do everything for you, but it gets you a long way. And if there's stuff that you have expertise in, that you know that you want to add in, it doesn't have to be, articles don't have to be long, but they really elevate you as a leader in the industry. And the lovely thing is the bar is fairly low. So yes, you've got some fairly big joinery companies in the UK, but beyond that, most small to medium joiners don't do any of this. Therefore, to stand out in that crowd and to be that, actually, because it's one thing to build trust with a end user, which is about your website and your testimonials and that sort of stuff. And it doesn't matter that you're fairly small. When you're looking to work with architects and on bigger contracts, you want to feel like a larger company, feel more professional, feel like you are leading in the field, essentially. And LinkedIn is a perfect way, and articles with the newsletters is a perfect way of just elevating that. Again, it gives you an excuse to contact people. You can send, when you then find people that you want to connect to, you can invite them to follow your newsletter. Immediately, then you've got their contact details. They're getting, and you don't need to be bombarding them, but you're there. You're in front of people, and we're building up the different pillars of the marketing system. You've got direct reach out to your warm clients, the people you're working with, and you've got ways of nurturing them and getting more out of the people that you've already worked for. You've done the hard bit in getting them and getting the work from them originally. You're just growing that. This is the next step. And we're reaching out to, initially, people who are in your network, who are contacts, who are on your phone, who are friends of friends, who are people you've worked for, etc. And that's the first place to start. And then we're moving out, and we're reaching out to new people within the industry and going, right, each week I'm going to connect with 10 architects, 10 developers within a 20-mile radius of you. And it's then a case of finding those people. You can pay for LinkedIn, and you can have Sales Navigator, which allows you to be more targeted, to find clients, to then you can get it to track people, and therefore whenever they post, it will be up to you, etc. Because one of the great ways of getting on somebody's radar is commenting on their posts. And it's finding people, and the beauty of, because you're looking at a trade client who's going to order regularly, it's worth putting in the effort to actually look at who they are, look at what they do, comment on what they post on LinkedIn. And it doesn't have to be much, just, wow, that looks great, impressive project, whatever. It doesn't have to be much, but they then get a notification that you've commented on their project, and therefore you're flagging up to them. And when you're doing that, what you need to make sure is, let me just, when you comment on something, the description of who you are on the top needs to be really clear and really succinct as to what you do, because that's what people see, essentially. So for me, it's being a mentor in the joinery and the kitchen industry. So if I comment on this is Hinson custom made. if I make a comment on this, well, you can then see that the first line of my description is shown, and that it's critical that that first bit says really succinctly what you do. So that when you're then commenting on it, that's the thing that everybody sees. Anybody, and so commenting on posts that are popular and lots of other people are within the field of what you do, you're then there.